Welcome back to the Strongman News, and this week we are kicking things off with Strongman being live. It's UK Strongest Man this weekend, and for the first time I can ever remember, Strongman is going to be live on national TV. This is quite big news, and it's kind of gone under the radar a little bit. The UK's is a great competition, but they haven't promoted this competition as well as maybe I'd like them to, because the UK's is tough, right? First thing I'm going to say, UK Strongest Man is always a very, very hard competition. But it's been a bit difficult to find out information. I have been lucky enough to speak to Glenn Ross. He did send me a few bits and bobs, but we only found out that this is actually going to be broadcast live on Channel 5 this past week.
Yeah, yesterday. So I was looking into it, gathering all the information, and it said UK Strongest Man live. So I went onto the Channel 5 website, and sure enough, Saturday and Sunday, 2 p.m. until 5 p.m, it's being broadcast live. Now, to me, this is a huge deal, because Channel 5 are the ones who have the contract with the world's strongest man. So maybe, you know, this is a sign of things to come in the future. Perhaps this could be a bit of a test dummy run.
I think that's the thing. I think we need to see how it works, because we all talk about wanting to see Strongman live. As fans, we're happy with a pay-per-view live stream. But this is actually live on national television.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very keen to see how this comes across.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So it looks like they've made some adaptations to the competition and the way it runs in order to accommodate that. Because that's always the issue with Strongman, isn't it? The length of time it takes. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they set up, how they're able to get that really fast turnaround event into an event, considering an advertisement slot only lasts about 5 minutes max.
Yeah, I mean, normally UK Strongest Man is done over 3 days. They have 2 groups of 8, and each day 2 athletes are eliminated into then, 4 athletes from each group will qualify into the final, and then you have an 8-man final. What it looks like is happening this time is you have 2 groups of 6. 2 athletes will be eliminated day 1, and then there'll be a final of 8 athletes, I believe, on day 2.
So the events are very, very interesting. They are starting day 1 with bar bending.
Yeah, bar bending is a cool event. It's one I knew was happening pretty quick, because the day it was announced, I literally had like 5 athletes messaging me, how do you do a bar bend? Because last time they did bar bend at UK Strongest Man, I actually won that event. So people are looking at me thinking he knows what to do. But the secret was, I went to see a guy called David Horner. He is the king when it comes to bar bending, and he showed me the best, most efficient technique to do it. And all the guys have been kind of training this. And it's a fun one. This is a great event as an exhibition. As an event in a competition, it's very stressful, especially if it's timed or, you're up against other people.
First event as well. Interesting choice.
The ones that have been able to practice this and have put the effort into learning how to do it will have a big advantage, because if you do not know what you're doing, it's actually firstly dangerous and secondly very, very difficult. If you know what you're doing, it's not so hard, and it's a fun one to watch for sure.
So then they're doing a deadlift called the brick deadlift. Now it's for reps and it's 325 kilos. But when I hear brick deadlift, I kind of think of like a silver dollar deadlift or something like that.
I think it probably will be something along those lines. I'm looking forward to seeing how it all visually looks, especially being live and how quick they have to get through everything. But yeah, it's going to be some kind of deadlift. I don't know what the height's from, but if you're a good deadlifter, you're a good deadlifter.
Then they're doing a car roll, one of your favourites.
I am a big fan of car flip, car roll. It's just one of those events that visually looks really, really good. You don't see it that often. However, it's a fun one to watch, and you just need to make sure that you kind of really use that momentum. You want to be aggressive off the initial pull off the floor, and then you kind of just have to keep driving this car over, keep it moving. What you don't want to do is get it stopped sort of at your hip height and have to keep working it up your body. You want to be aggressive, drive that shoulder into the car, keep pushing it, and just get that car over.
There you go. So if anyone's parked on your driveway, now you know what to do. And then the eliminator event on day 1 it's called the steps from hell, but I think it's like a duck walk into a power stairs. Yes,
so the bottom 3, I believe, in each group will have to do this event, and then the winner of those 3 will qualify for day 2. Unfortunately, 2 athletes will have to go home.
2 from each group.
Yes.
So on to day 2, and they're starting with a truck pull.
Truck pull, really good test of all over strength. And again, truck pulls are not always seen in most sort of one-day shows. You don't see them that often. We do see them at World's Strongest Man a lot, but a lot of athletes won't have done a truck pull. So without having experience on it, it can be quite difficult. I always say this, surface is the most important thing when it comes to a truck pull. So without knowing, what surface they're on, it's hard to say. But a truck pull is all about good technique. Body weight can certainly help, but technique is more important than anything.
So not content with just flipping a car, we've now got the tyre flip, the Earth Mover tyre flip.
Yeah, now this is an event that's surprising, having seen that we already have the car flip or the car roll in the same competition. Tyre flip is a dangerous one, particularly if there's any sort of wetness, rain or anything like that. I'm never a fan of seeing it. I've done it many times and it's a fun event to do. I've just seen too many injuries on it. So I'm always nervous when it comes to a tyre flip. But essentially, you've got two flipping events, which is unusual in the same competition.
Then we have the Daddy Dumbbell.
Daddy dumbbell. This is a very, very thick one-handed dumbbell. It's thicker than most monster dumbbells that you see. It's tough because you need that grip strength to just stabilize it. So the guys with bigger hands will have a little bit of an advantage. Even if they're great pressers, you need that grip and stability of the hand to balance it.
So the final two events, and I don't know what order they're in, but we've got the stone run, so pretty standard stuff, although Glenn has very big dusty stones, isn't he?
They are hard stones. It's very easy to watch a competition and think, oh, those weights don't sound hard.
Yeah.
The reality is, if you've ever done the UK's competitions, Glenn's stones are extremely difficult. You see a lot of people fail his 165 stone. So it's just the surface of the stones. They're not the tacky doesn't stick to them as well. They're a little bit more rough. They're a bit dusty. So you often see guys that you think can lift much, much bigger weights in a different competition struggle on the stones in this. So it's a tough set of stones for sure.
And also a car hold. Now, we don't know if it's going to be done with or without straps. Is it a grip test or is it just a brutal finisher to a competition?
Regardless, if this is the last event, then what a finish it's going to be. It's going to be about who wants it the most. And if it is without straps, then obviously grip is more important. If it's with straps, it's just coping with pain and discomfort longer than the next guy.
Yeah. So all in all, a brutal competition done over a very short period of time. They've only got 3 hours each day, so it's going to be a fast turnaround.
Absolutely. There's 2 groups of 6. It's live on Channel 5 both days. I believe tickets are still available if you want to go to Cardiff to watch it. We'll leave a link in the description below. I hope it's a fantastic competition. Good luck to all the athletes. The reigning champion is Paul Smith. He is going to be competing.
2-time reigning champion, but he's got some really stiff opposition, I feel. Like Paddy Haynes is going to be there, Andrew Flynn.
Return of Lewis Jack. Haven't seen him for a while. He was injured, but he's coming back for this show. Yeah. Some really good up-and-coming athletes. We wish everyone the best of luck. And if you can't watch it, we will bring you the results next week. So in other news, we have the return of Luke Richardson, who's going to be competing at England's Strongest Man. This is the Giants Live qualifier for Britain's Strongest Man. Yeah. And Luke is the current champion.
He is.
Tore his hamstring earlier this year. However, this week it has officially been announced. I'd said in one of the lives that I had a feeling he was doing it based off the way he was posting his training videos. He was training for the events. Yeah. It was clear to see. Now, I've heard rumours that he might hold back on the deadlift. It's weird. We have these ideas in our head, but he's a competitive man. So when he gets to the competition, it'll be interesting to see what he actually does.
Without having spoken to Luke, my guess is that because this is the qualifier, the official qualifier for Britain's Strongest Man, obviously he wants to ensure his spot there next year.
Of course. It's going to be interesting. I mean, it's not been that long since he had surgery on his hamstring. However, from the videos I've seen, from his kind of own comments, he's been very confident and positive with the rehab process. And coming back to England's Strongest Man is better than jumping in at the highest level competitions. So hopefully he is fully fit and we see an in-shape Luke Richardson, because the guy in shape is incredible. It's a really strong lineup, that competition now. I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's going to be a good show, but good to see the current champ is going to be back for England's Strongest Man. Last weekend we had the Strongest Man in Iceland contest, which was won by Vilius Jakuzic. Second place was Christian Nielsen, and in third place was Hilmar Arn Jonsson. I hope I didn't butcher the names then. Very, very proud of Christian. He's been working with me for a while now, and good to see progress. He's made progress in some of his weaker events. He was disappointed not to take the win, but he is training partners with Villiers, and I know they'll be happy for each other and they'll want to push each other hard. They're pretty close in terms of level right now, and Christian has some big comps coming up later in the year, so we're going to keep working towards those.
And people can watch this competition. It's now on YouTube. It was uploaded on Tuesday, so I will include a link in the description below. So also last weekend was the Pahlavan Mahmud Strongman Grand Prix, which is held in Uzbekistan. And again, apologies for pronunciations, but that was won by Reza Gatarsi, which is a Iranian athlete. And he's won this competition 3 times.
I was just going to say, he's won this show 3 years. Is it 3 years in a row?
It is 3 in a row, yeah.
But the interesting news for a lot of people have been asking, where's he been, what's he been doing, is Andy Black from Scotland competed in this show. He ended up placing 4th, but he actually was doing very well in certain events. He was 2nd in a lot of events. And there were some other good athletes in this lineup, actually.
Yeah, there were.
Rongo competed, didn't he?
Yeah,
Didn't have the
Rongo was
best
there.
show for Rongo. He's just kind of getting back into strongman after feeling a bit dejected with not being able to get to Worlds, but hopefully he's starting to get that love for it back and we see him back to his best. But it was a good lineup, and congratulations to Reza, because he has dominated this show for 3 years now. The Middle East have some fantastic strongmen. We do want to see them get some opportunities. I know it's difficult with travel, etc., but there are some strong athletes in that area of the world right now.
So that's all we've got today, but there's actually so much strongman news going on that we have a part 2 video tomorrow, Lazo.
Yeah, we've got more strongman news coming out tomorrow. Look out for that. As always, guys, thank you for watching the channel. Do not forget, like, share and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.